A mysterious mastermind has been operating behind the scenes in order to take down Shang-Chi and his family, and now he is stepping out of the shadows to make his final strike, his chance to destroy everyone in Shang-Chi's bloodline. The new Blood and Monsters arc of Shang-Chi starts things off with a bang. Throughout the entirety of the Brother and Sisters miniseries and the Shang-Chi vs. the Marvel Universe, Shang-Chi's relationship with his family has been front and center. In taking up the mantle of Supreme Commander of the Five Weapon Society, he's come into conflict with some of his fellow heroes, as well as members of his family. And that conflict of family continues with the threat of Shang-Chi's grandfather. And I genuinely appreciate that Yang is keeping the concept of family as the main driving theme for his run. Yang is joined on this new story arc by artist Marcus Tao, who, in case you guys aren't aware of, has illustrated many Marvel comics, such as EXCALIBUR, along with DC titles like Red Robin and The Flash. And so with that said, this dude definitely has the game for illustrating the Master of Kung Fu adventures, because this book is packed with tons of Kung Fu action. Shang-Chi kicks and punches whilst leaving fiery trails in his wake. Tao also draws arrows and daggers with a trajectory that feels as if they are flying straight out of the pages towards the reader's face. They definitely come off as if they're like living weapons themselves. But the biggest draw of this issue has to be the Tatawi. They are massive lion-esque beasts sporting jade masks and red glowing eyes, thus resulting in some absolutely nightmarish moments. Topping it all off are Gao's colors, which are very based on the character's garb. Jin wears a dark purple suit of armor and a full-line cape, serving as a bold contrast to Shang-Chi's red and gold tunic. And a majority of the action takes place within the small Hawaiian town, with the reddish-orange background representing a majestic sunset. The palm trees and the sandy beaches also make for an interesting setting for a martial arts fight scene. It sort of makes me think of the Mortal Kombat movie, where Liu Kang sort of fought Kitana. And I say sort of because that was clearly some of the worst fight choreography throughout the entire movie. Plus, like, shouldn't Shang Tsung kill you for spilling the secrets to his arch nemesis? Like, Kitana, what are you doing? Whatever, I fucking digress. Shang-Chi issue number 9 launches a new story arc and brings on a new artist, with a story that will appeal to comic book fans of every caliber. If you love Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, or if you're just looking to get into the Shang-Chi comics in general, then this is the perfect jumping on point. I'd even go as far as to recommend it as a nice jumping on point for readers who are just looking to get into comics in general. But yeah, overall this series remains a very fun read, through and through. Shang-Chi issue number 9 gets a lovely 8 out of 10. Alrighty folks, Shang-Chi issue number 9 picks up in Hawaii, within the town of Kulakano, where we see 3 crooks stalking a rich couple who are just doing some basic anniversary shopping. Now the head honcho of the group, a dude named Fowler, lets his underlings know that they will let the couple have their day of shopping because we'll just get them on the way out of town. To which Fowler commends himself, saying that he was born to do this and that it's in his blood. Picking up on the island summit, we have Shang-Chi along with Sister Staff and Sister Dagger, and it's here where we get a narration from Shang-Chi, basically giving us the recap on what's been happening. And what's been happening is that a man from another dimension, who was revealed to be Shang-Chi's grandfather, Chieftain Shin, the leader of the Quinn Riders, had sent a crew of assassins to kill Shang-Chi, but they failed to do so. And so because of that, they ended up kidnapping his mother, and they took her to their home dimension of Tao La. Now seemingly both Shang-Chi and Chieftain Shin have agreed to an exchange, Shang-Chi's life for his mother's. And as the 3 arrive at the summit for the exchange, Sister Staff promises Shang-Chi that once Chieftain Shin hands over his mother, she'll care for her as if she was her own mother. However, Sister Dagger expresses her resentment towards them both, asking where was all this concern back when Shang turned over Brother Saber to the Avengers. So yeah, Sister Dagger is still pretty jaded. But before Chang can even reason with his sister, we see the arrival of Chieftain Shin flying in on his Quinn, you know, the weird looking horse. Chieftain Shin informs Chang that he deliberately left his daughter back in Tao La so that she wouldn't have to bear witness to the death of her own son. So yeah, basically fuck you Shang-Chi, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Thus the riders launch their arrows at Shang and his sisters, while the chieftain telepathically orders his riders to kill them all. Therefore the riders are seemingly able to overpower our heroes. And while the 2 sisters are battling the riders, Chieftain Shin gets his weird looking horse, and no, I am not going to stop calling him that because it's hilarious, and from there he attacks Shang-Chi with an arrow. And amidst their battle, Chong wonders why his grandfather is doing this, to which the chieftain replies that it's because he loathes Shang-Chi. He loathes him and everything belonging to Jiangsu. Therefore, I am dedicated in destroying all that Shang-Chi built, along with everyone who shares his blood. And despite being the master of Kung Fu, Chieftain Shin overpowers our hero, and he stabs him in the arm with an arrow, thus drawing blood from him. Now why is this happening? Well, it turns out that the chieftain needs the blood of Shang-Chi in order to cast a mystical spell, and this is where we see the chieftain fill up the mystical bronze cauldron with Chang's blood. And once Chieftain Shin completes the ritual, him and his riders bail out as quickly as possible. And the reason for this is because the ritual has summoned 3 vicious beasts, whom are addicted to the blood of Shang-Chi. But not only that, but essentially they are bound to hunt down any of those who share the blood of Shang-Chi, basically every one of his children. Now fortunately the 3 siblings are able to work together to take out one of the monsters. However, the other 2 scurry off to the other side of the mountain. And this is what picks us up with the rich couple, who are now heading out of town, following their long and drastic day of expensive shopping. But they are caught by Foul Law and his underlings, who proceed to rob the couple of their wallets and jewelry. Suddenly things get pretty funky because it's here where one of the beasts jumps out of the bushes and begins to attack, yet it ignores the crooks and the couple, as it specifically lunges after Foul Law. Dum dum dum. And yes, your suspicions are absolutely correct, because it turns out that Foul Law does indeed share the blood of Jiangsu. But luckily for Foul Law, we see the arrival of Shang-Chi and his sisters as they pounce upon the beast. The beast then chomps on Sister Staff's hand, but Shang-Chi kicks his head away from Sister Dagger, who sees that after eating her blood, the beast developed a giant pimple on its back and is now duplicating itself into 2 beasts. The new monster then begins to lunge at Shang-Chi, who tries to fight back, but it's stronger than all the others, and it scratches Shang-Chi's arm. And so noticing that the beasts have a taste for their blood, Shang alerts his sisters, and both he and Sister Staff jump on top of both beasts, smearing their blood on their heads. The beasts then begin to smell the blood on each other, thus they begin to attack, resulting in them dissipating into thin air. Later in the dimension of Tao Law, Shang-Chi's mother is trapped in a cage, and she lets her father know that he sucks because he's a terrible dad. But Chieftain Shin tells his daughter that he was hoping to spare her the pain, and that he had no choice in the matter because his honor was at stake. Plus he knows that during her time trapped within a negative zone, Jing Li tried to psionically connect with both Shang-Chi and his sister Shi Hao. But of course her daughter never answered because she wanted to remain hidden. But once the whistling arrow covered with Shang-Chi's blood gets infused with Jing Li's psionic energy, it will lead him right to Shi Hao, the daughter of Changzu, also known as Sister Hammer. The only problem is that the infusion will cause his daughter immense pain. Thus we witness Shang-Chi's mother scream with agony. Afterwards, we pick up aboard the Five Weapon Society helicarrier, where everyone is receiving a memo from Master Ling. And according to what he found in the Five Weapon Society library, which is pretty cool that there's a library called that, those creatures are known as Tatayu, and it seems that Chieftain Shin crafted these particular Tatayu from the blood of Shang-Chi's heir, Shang-Chi, to attack anyone in Shang-Chi's lineage, which, basically means that Foul Law is a descendant of Shang-Chi. Now Chang wants to play this smart, and he tells his sisters to keep this on the down low, because the last thing they want is for Foul Law to get any, evil ideas. Because, he's clearly an asshole. Eventually they walk into Foul Law's cell, and they let him know that they saw what Foul Law and his crew did to the couple. Therefore, they're going to drop him off with the Hawaiian authorities. Now Foul Law particularly doesn't care, just as long as the beasts don't come back for him. Foul Law then tries to hit on Sister Staff, but disgusted upon what's happening in front of her face, Sister Dagger isn't about incest, and so she immediately spills the beans, letting him know that she's like his distant cousin, and that her father was his great-great-grandfather, aka the greatest supervillain ever. So basically, dude, stop being a douche. Afterwards, once they drop off Foul Law to the authorities, Foul Law revels in the fact that his ancestor was the greatest supervillain ever. Later, we pick up at the Vault, a maximum security prison for supervillains, where we see Brother Saber doing some one-handed push-ups in a cell. And hot damn on a stick, folks, this dude got jacked within like a month. Holy shit, but I digress. And so after Saber receives his meal, things get pretty crappy for him, because within an instant, one of the creatures who we thought was dead back in Hawaii is actually very much alive. and now it wants to murder Brother Saber. And that, folks, was the end of Shang-Chi, issue number 9. And thank you guys for checking out my video, as it truly means the world to me. And as always, I'm your majestic sayer over at SuperCliff, and if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll never miss out on an upload, and so that you'll always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. Now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on this issue? Are you guys excited for issue number 10? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until the next video, peace. Oh yeah!